Hello, I'm Natalie Kenway, Global Head of ESG Insight at ESG Clarity. Welcome to the Green Dream video series. This is the video series where we interview senior members of the responsible investment industry. Today, I'm delighted to be speaking to Alexandra Morris, who is CIO at Skagen Funds. Thanks so much for joining me today, Alexandra.
Well, thank you for having me, Natalie.
Thanks. And I've been looking at some of the notes on Skagen and wanted to ask why you invest in some of the highest emitting sectors.
Well, we don't target high emitting sectors, but Skagen is an active value manager and our funds operating using broad global mandates. And being active means being unconstrained, and our portfolios contain companies from many countries and sectors. So the diversification reflects where our portfolios managers see the best value at a particular time, and it also key to reducing risk for our clients' investments. It also means we inevitably have exposure to industries producing greenhouse gas emissions into our atmosphere. If we only selected companies from low emitting sectors, our opportunity set would be significantly restricted and not particularly diverse. Now, our funds are classified as Article 8 under SFDR, but are not labeled or marketed as green. Now, if we take a step back, for society to have any chance of achieving the Paris Agreement, change must come within the high emitting sectors. And as Skagen is a long-term investor, we typically hold stocks for several years, and we have long championed incremental, or should I say continuous change within our portfolio companies, and the need for strong corporate governance to enable this. So we have concentrated portfolios, typically with fewer than 50 holdings, like around 40, which means we are close to the companies we own. And I'm pleased to say that we can see many of them within the highest emitting sectors, but which I mean those that consume a lot of energy, such as industry, transport, real estate. They are making the transition. Indeed, some are changing rapidly. And that is needed for us to meet the Paris Agreement.
Okay, and so how do you ensure that those companies are transitioning?
In fact, carbon made up a fifth of all our ESG dialogues last year. And I can give you an example. We engaged with Canadian Pacific Railway, a top 10 holding in our largest fund, Skagen Global, on their environmental strategy, which is anchored on science-based targets. Now, rail in itself is a low carbon transportation relative to trucking, for example, being able to replace 300 trucks with one haul. The strategy they have put forth directly informs their decarbonization efforts and transition targets on specific focus areas such as fuel efficiency, hydrogen technology, and on-site renewable energy. And as investors, we use this strategy as a roadmap to monitor the progress made by the company to ensure they keep on track and progressing accordingly through constructive dialogue and engagement, which again should benefit our investment in the long term. As well as direct dialogue, our voting record is close to 100%, and we are not afraid to vote against management if we disagree with the course they are taking, which we did around 6% of the time in 2021.
Great, thank you for sharing that. And can you outline some more examples of companies that you're working with?
Well, as well as Canadian Pacific Railway, another good example is Ivanhoe Mines, which is owned by 3 of our funds. Now, Ivanhoe is a Canadian copper producer with huge deposits in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, copper is key to the green transition, as it is an important ingredient in battery production and renewable energy networks. Now, the company is determined to see its flagship Kamoa-Kakula project become the world's first CO2 neutral copper mine. This is ambitious and covers both scope 1 and 2 emissions. And the mine already operates with renewable hydro and is currently working on electrifying all transport vehicles, including making the steel in the transport vehicles emission-free, green steel, so to say.
Okay, you mentioned that 6%. When have you divested? What's the cutoff point? What's the sort of final straw, I guess, for you?
So our aim is to avoid coming into a position where a company disappoints us. but we are fully prepared to exit if we see our thesis is being violated. Now, CMS Energy is a company in the US, a utility company providing energy for households and industry across the Midwest. We worked closely with them for many years, so much that the CEO even bragged about Skagen publicly as a key partner in successfully pushing the climate agenda towards their own board. Now, CMS Energy has ambitious goals of reducing carbon emissions by 90% by 2040, saving billions of gallons of water and restoring thousands of acres of land. They had a clear roadmap. They had closed 7 coal plants in 2017. They ranked number 10 top green company in the US back in 2017. However, due to the Storebrand standard being reined in 2019, we divested our stake in that year. We exclude companies with more than 5% coal exposure, and CMS has over 20%. This is, of course, a dilemma for us. As Bill Gates said a while back, exclusions do not lead to a lower greenhouse gas emissions footprint. The line has to be drawn somewhere, and this may be an undeserved casualty, while others, again, are absolutely deserved.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for talking us through that. We always end the Green Dream with this question. What is your favorite sustainable drink or snack?
Well, I think it's a maybe obvious answer, but it is tap water. Now, I live in Norway, and in Norway we have fantastic tap water, free, which tastes fantastic. When I grew up, tap water was maybe seen as the poor man's drink, and we wanted to put concentrated syrup into the water to make it taste sweet. But I think that's long gone 30, 40 years ago, and water is now seen as a luxury good, and we actually have it for free in our own taps, which is a real privilege.
It really is. Well, thank you so much for your time, Alexandra. It was really great speaking to you today.
Thank you too, Natalie. Nice speaking to you too.